Maysha, you know how I'm going to begin, right?
I do. In the beginning,
There was only energy, neither good nor bad, just
just
energy.
energy. Hey, you all, this is Maysha with As Long as You're Breathing. And obviously, Pam's in the house. And we have also Pam, of course, of Sacred Energy Management, Dianna Leeder of Crave More Life Coaching, and of course, Sheri Moise, who has been with me now from the beginning and has taken such a good care of me, and I love so very much, of Heart, Mind, Mentoring, and Training. And I'll let her tell you all about the other stuff whenever she talks. But what we're here for today is we're doing a roundtable, and we want to talk about what most people term as conscious awakening or spiritual awakening. And I've decided to call it energetic awakening because that's what I'm doing these days, is changing up the vernacular of everything. But it's basically, we want people to understand that not everyone has spiritual or conscious or energetic awakening the same way. That not so there may be something going on with you in your life and you're like, I'm not sure what this is. It's not matching what other people are talking about or what I'm hearing the most about. And so we want you to know that, of course, it's all going to be, you're the one and only you. It's going to be unique to you. But there are many different people in the world experiencing this in many different ways. And so that's what we want to talk about today. All right, Miss Dianna, who I too met through, well, you were first on a broadcast with me, but then, of course, then I ended up in your books. And so thank you so very much. But Dianna Leeder of Crave More Life Coaching, let's hear what you had to say about awakening to conscious awareness.
Yeah, this is a big topic. A really big topic. And when, as I'm listening to Pam too, I'm thinking, yeah, oh yeah, and then there was that, and then there was that. So I too was not so well. I was raised by a religious father. Um, my mother was, I can say this out loud. She was this crazy English lady who just laughed a lot, and so his stuff kind of got pushed to the side. So I was christened as a child. That's probably as far as I got. But I had an awareness of religion growing up and in my teen and in my early adult years that scared the bejeebies out of me. Only because not for the probably what I would call the truth of it, the origins of it, but for what it looked like by the time I was learning. So one of the things that I did for many, many years was work with assaulted women. Well, I can't count the number of women who were locked in terribly harmful, I mean, there were women that were, I went to many funerals. We'll put it that like that. But many of them were women who were locked in because they were married and the church would not allow them to leave. He would not allow them to leave because of the church or whatever. And I had this it was weird because I always had this thing in the back of my head was, about, don't do as you're told. Don't do what that says. You figure it out for yourself, girl. Don't listen to what the Bible or any formal religion tells you that you have to do. So that was kind of where I went. That's how I raised my daughters. Thankfully, my husband was of the same mind. So, we were able to raise them with that kind of understanding that, you figure this out for yourself. You do what works for you. So at that same point, and I really wasn't aware of it at the time, but as I look back, as I'm kind of doing this connection about, okay, religion, that's not working. I was also figuring out how to use my voice, figuring out where it didn't, where I wasn't using it and how I needed to use it in order to understand who I was. So I knew what to do and what I needed to think, et cetera, et cetera. So those two things kind of went like this for me. And of course, in that time, I didn't realize that they were the same thing. I didn't until I did. And that I think that was kind of the like the little mini rocket ship that started any kind of understanding of my own spiritual awakening. And strangely, in terms of just understanding gifts and things like that, mine began with a relationship with a medium who, you know, I call my friend. I've known her for decades, and she's just a beautiful human, and a beautiful spirit. And she used to say to me all the time, you know, Dianna, you have healing hands. And I'd kind of look at her and say, what? Nah. And I really didn't even know what that meant, but it was weird, so I really didn't pay a lot of attention to it. I had other things, you know, I'm raising teenagers at that point. And you know, I'd say to her, oh yeah, you know, my hip is really sore because I've been running. And she said, Dianna, put your hands on it, you know, or one of my girls has headache, Dianna, use your hands. Right. So, but she wasn't kind of, you know, we didn't have that relationship where she was teaching me how to do that. And I didn't ask her. I just kind of went, oh, well, yeah, okay. And that was that. So as that understanding for me kind of became clearer, and it really took a really good visit to an ER for it to be crystal clear. And it was funny because I just heard someone talking about UTIs the other day, and it was like, oh, we don't talk about those, and you know what it means if you have one. Well, there's lots of reasons why you get them, and I used to get them all the time, so I'm just gonna be open about that. I had a terrible one, and I knew from my experience from past experiences with them all, that there was no getting rid of them unless I took an antibiotic. I did not want to take an antibiotic, but I knew that there was no choice for me in that moment. So off I went to the ER. It was just early COVID. So I was terrified to be there by myself, of course. And I was waiting. I waited for 5 hours. So as I'm waiting, I'm twiddling my thumbs and thinking, what, you know, this is middle of the night here. I can't even text anybody, right? So I thought, okay, here they are. They're right here, and they're my tools. So let's give this a try. So I just placed my hands on my lower abdomen, and I left them there. And I asked all my guides. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who I was talking to, but I knew that I knew. I mean, if no one else, my mom. You know, my mom had passed decades before, so I knew that she would be there with me. So that I knew that, but I didn't know anybody else. I asked them just to help me, to join with me, so that it wasn't just my energy that was that could heal me. That it was beefed up. I wanted it to be beefed up. So I left. You know, I left my hands there. I left them there for a long time. And you know, I was kind of, it was lucky actually that it was the middle of the night, because I didn't have things running through my head to take me away and distract me. And so that was, I don't know, it was probably an hour and a half, maybe closer to 2, that I had them there. And by the time the doctor came in, it was gone. The pain was gone. You know, the number of times that I had run to the bathroom from my ER room, you know, before I started was up to about every 10 minutes. I was done. I didn't need to go back anymore. You know, all the pain had stopped. And we won't get into the gory details, but what else stopped? But and yeah, so I knew better than to tell the doctor, I'm good now, and why. I knew better than to do that. So I just said, thank you very much, when he handed me the prescription, and I stuck it in my pocket, and I went home, and I never used it. So that was kind of my first real proof that there was energy in my hands that could heal me and heal others. And it was awesome. It was such a great feeling, but that was really what kind of made me think, whoa, there must be more. And it wasn't until actually I started to it's like I feel like I'm seeing this big cloud now, like a big sunny white beautiful cloud that, well, there could be this, there could be that, there are angels, there are my parents, there are, there's so many people that are up here in the spirit world who can support me and that I can access, and this is so awesome. Like I was really, really excited. And I really was eager to learn about how I could access them and they could guide me. So I started to learn. Maysha's been an awesome teacher and mentor. I call her my spiritual mentor. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for me. It's been an incredible awakening. When I was saying earlier about the two streams of, my own understanding spirituality and using my voice, that was when they came together. And that was when I started to write about finding my voice. That's when the books, the Find Your Voice, Save Your Life books came into play, culminating in that third one, which, as Pam said, is the one for spiritual healers. I've never felt that much energy with a group of women than in that book. And everything that I did to prepare or to work with that group felt right. It just felt right and in line with who I was, and what I needed to express, who I needed to be my authentic self. So all that has been extremely exciting. I know I get a little impatient sometimes because I don't, unlike some of you, I don't hear, although I did hear who I'm pretty sure were the Palladians say to me one time before Christmas, and this literally is probably the only thing that I've actually heard, and the comment was, "May we go shopping?" Okay, if you're gonna say something, make it fun. I love it. Yeah. May we go shopping? Yeah.
That sounds like the Palladians. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
so-
probably wanted Christmas music playing too.
Well, that was happening anyway. They show up, I know that whoever it is, Palladians, any family, whoever it is, they come and join me at my daily dance parties in my kitchen. They love it when I sing. I can't sing on tune for the life of me, but they love it. And I just feel that whole, bottom up, I feel, and Maysha has helped me with this. I feel Lady Nada, I feel her coming down from top to waist. Did I know who or what that was to begin with? No, but now that I do, it's like, whoa, yeah. I like that very much. So even the stuff that I feel or know, because that's really how it comes to me, it's different than other people. I don't, like I said, I don't hear it. I will get a sense of this is it. If I ask a question, I'm not going to get an answer right then and there. I'm going to get it at some point. Sometimes it's through writing. Sometimes it's just that knowing that arrives. Sometimes it's the feeling in conversation with somebody or in a coaching conversation, and suddenly, something comes out, or I hear something and I get all the feels, which is just a beautiful acknowledgement that the work that I'm doing is on point. And the other thing that I wanted to just say is that, as things had come together to that point for me, what I realized was that the work that I'm doing now is really based on what I created and wrote 10 years ago. So I'm literally using the same tools that I wrote 10 years ago. And they are, people that are reading are going, yeah. So, it's all kind of it's that synchronicity. It's that, there are no coincidences. This was clearly what I was supposed to be doing, and this is when I was supposed to be doing it. So I'm honored to be able to do that, and at whatever, in whatever way they give it to me. I really am honored. Do I look up sometimes and say, can you just speed it up a little bit? Or, I don't forget, I'm still open to hearing. I will listen. But I've also had to just kind of realize that what's going to happen is what's going to happen, and that's okay. Yeah. So it's been a very exciting time for me. I love it. And I love listening to you guys with all, the magic of all your gifts, and all the magic in this book, Pam. I mean, your story is amazing. Maysha's is as well. It's, it's incredible. It's just incredible. So my last statement is simply to say that if wherever you are, enjoy that, enjoy where you are. And the more you align to yourself and honor yourself, use your voice, express who and what you are and what you need, the more it will grow.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for the kind words. But I know in working with you over the past, I don't know how long now, it seems like we've been together forever.
Yeah,
but
it does. About a year, just over a year.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, it seems like forever,
wow.
Because it has been. We know that it's been,
yes.
It's been always.
Yes.
It's always. I'm just like Pam and Sheri, always. But the thing that I think stands out so much with you is how you were just so sure that your gifts were supposed to show up like a certain way, and the finally getting you to see it happened whenever you sent me all your stuff, because we were talking about doing the certification and all of those things, and so you sent me everything you had created over the years, and I started looking at it, and I'm like, this is the same stuff that I say, that Sheri says. It's the same stuff. And you're like, I created this 10 years ago. I don't know if we can use any of this or not. And I'm like, hold on a second. You realize
HFS, right?
Yeah,
HFS.
Yeah, holy F it. Yeah, right. You do realize that for 10 years now, at least, because I have 10 years of it, you have been channeling the stuff that you're using now. Yeah. And that we're all saying now, which is the beauty of why all of us are here, is because we're all saying the same thing, but we've been saying it our whole lives in different ways. It's the culmination of your life's work. And you're wanting to hear, you're just that, every session we would have, you would be like, and so how do I hear them? How do I hear them? And I would be like, you've been hearing them your whole life. Look at this work you've done. And so yeah, if you could speak a little bit more to that, about the fact that you started realizing, wait, I feel them, and I get them this way, and I get them that way, because everyone thinks of the clairaudient or the vision, the clairvoyance, and those are not necessarily how this manifests, but it is, you are in alignment with self and have been your whole life. So if you could just talk about that a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. You've got that bang on. I was salivating, waiting for that. Thinking, well, that's gotta come. That's just gotta come, right? and there's still, there's still that tiny bit of frustration that, oh yeah, I just wish I could, that would just be so much easier. I don't want to wait, because I'm kind of an impatient person. But it's understanding that there are other ways for that guidance to come through, that channeling to come through, and having that acknowledgement, being able to understand how they were channeling to me, and the messages that they gave me that I just, 10 years ago, I just sat at my computer and went, and it was done, without any concept of anybody having anything to do with it except just me, myself, and I, right? So it just calls for that understanding that it's not just one way. One way is not the way. Everybody has a different way, and we receive in different ways, and we create in different ways. So there is that acceptance, really, of self, that this is me. Yeah, this is me, and then also really, and I I had to work with this, but making the most of what those ways were, as opposed to simply, kind of, sitting and waiting, right? So how do I make the most of, say meditation as an example? So, lots of people can sit down and, ask a question and they get an answer, or they get feels in that point. I don't through meditation. I don't. And it could just be because, I could need more drink. I don't know. But I don't. That's not what happens for me. It happens later. So, putting it out. Yes, giving myself time to honor myself, the quiet to honor myself is really, really important. But not having the expectation that just because I'm doing that, I'm going to then create a different path for those gifts to come through. So yeah, making the most of what, of how the gifts are coming through to start with. And noticing when that changes, when it becomes stronger or weaker, or it doesn't usually get much weaker, I suppose, but noticing in client interactions. Now I keep a log, now I just on the side, just that was bang on, that as a reminder that this is the way it's coming through. So, I want to honor that, and I want to be aware of that. I don't want to just let that slide, because, I've been working with women for a long, long, long time in various capacities. Never until the last couple of years have I realized that I was receiving while I was working with those women too. Yeah. So now I do. Now I know, and that's huge. That's been huge for me, and I think it's huge for other people who are waiting. Love, understand, and love and accept where you are. Because that's the gift of today.
I know, Sheri, you're dying to jump in here. I can see it. You're like wanting to jump out of your seat. So just go for it, girl. Just tell her.
Come on.
No, I'm just appreciating, the conversation, and I'm appreciating the permission that you are giving people, because what I know from a number of different things that I've done in my work is that this piece of like shoulding ourselves, right? Well, an awakening should look this way. Ascending should look this way. If I'm gifted, I should be able to do these things. And I remember, the little bit that I was engaged with your own like frustration of like, it's not looking the way I think it should. So, you teach people and you support people in using their voice. And I think it's just such a beautiful, goes hand in hand with this idea of like, there's not one way to use your voice. There's not one way for your gifts to come online. There's just that, your way. So, and I see you, like, I just want to reflect, like, I see you so much more settled now that you have said yes to your way, and that you're okay with that. And I think it's really important to be open and curious still. Like, I believe and know for myself, it's just a constant evolution. So I'd be curious for you, like, how do you see that for yourself, and how do you keep the door open to curiosity?
I totally see that for myself. Yeah, I know this will grow. I know it will change. And the way that I stay open to that is to hold space for it. Like in that it's with that knowing, I trust that knowing. I don't know what it's going to look like. I haven't got a clue. But I do trust in my ability to hold space for that, along with a lot of things. That's really what I've been doing for so many years, is holding space for people and things. So this is just another space to honor that, we don't know what's happening here, but it's kind of like being pregnant, something's going on in there and it's getting bigger, So when this baby's ready to be birthed or whatever, it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. So Yeah. And be in gratitude, that's a big part of it for me too. I am honored to have been given what I have been given, and to be asked to do what I've been asked to do. I am, like, there's no other way about it. How could I not feel that way? So I do, and I tell them every day how grateful I am.
Yeah. And no attachment to outcome, as you said. It's just the gratefulness for the gifts. And I like how you talked about too, how you phrased it and then you tried to correct yourself, but because you weren't sure how to put it, how sometimes they're stronger or not as strong. I think that's another thing too for us to point out to people is you can have the clairaudience or the feels or whatever going on out the yin yang, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, where'd it go? And so people sometimes are like, I unawakened. And no, you didn't unawaken. You didn't unawaken. It has to do with our energy at the time, what we're around, what's going on with us. It has to do with so many things. It is so individualized. But I think that's an important thing to bring out to people is the intensity or the way you're using your gifts at any given time. I mean, even me, I hear them all the time, and I've always heard them all the time. But then I'll have those moments where I'm like, wait, where'd y'all go? Hold on, something is wrong here. Where did my people go? And so they didn't go anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's either a moment in time when you need some more silence or whatever. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, thank you. And the other piece that brings up for me is that it will change depending on how aligned I am keeping to myself and my truth. Yeah, absolutely. If I'm off in my head somewhere, I might as well just go and have a bath or something. Like there's I need to come back to come back to me and come back to my center. And honor that, and that's when things are as strong as they are in that particular moment.
Yeah, transcend the mind. Come on, Pam, jump in here. I know you're dying too. I know I'm dabbing my eyes and you're fighting. I'm fighting my allergies and you're fighting. So yeah, but come on, jump in here. Don't worry about it.
So I heard you say somewhere along there that you don't. You don't always hear them. You're like me. You don't always hear them like in words that we hear as humans.
Yeah.
And yet then later on, you talked about how when you're working with somebody, you hear it and you share it. And that is what happens. That happens for me too. I've always got this buzzing going on, and I know they're talking to me, and I know I'm getting whatever it is I'm supposed to be getting. But I can be working with a client just like you, and I just get a download, and it's just like, this is what you need to tell them. This is what you need to ask them. And I think I want your take on this too, but I think we have to be careful sometimes about what we're told to share and what we can share, or how much of that we can share. And I don't know that I've ever gotten anything that I felt that I couldn't really share in a pretty direct, manner. But I know there are times when people have gotten messages that they're just like, man, I can't tell that person that. No way, not my job. So just now that I've kind of called that to your mind, no, I don't ever hear them in words, but yeah, when I work with somebody, I hear it. So where does it go for you?
So when I am working with somebody, I'm not hearing that piece. I don't hear they need to know this, tell them this. What I get is that knowing. So it will be, this is the fear. This is what's happening for this person. This is what, it's the knowing, right? It's the knowing of the blocks. It's the knowing of what's happening, what's in the way, the most direct path. it's just the knowing. So I never hear that. That's something that I really wanted, right? But no,
Yeah.
I don't get that. But I do get that knowing. And the reason that I trust that it is guided is that it is it's like that in the moment when it needs to be said. And I don't have any problem with saying to somebody, here's what's coming up for me, do what you like with it or don't do anything with it. It's your choice, it's your life. And depending on the relationship, if it's my best friend, I'm going to tell her anyway, because she already knows that. She already knows that she can do what she wants with it. With a client, you have to maintain boundaries, right? Which then that's really important. But yeah, I like to set that stage for it. So here it is. I've already explained where it's coming from. This is what I'm getting. And when I say this is what I'm getting, it's not just, thinking this, and then you can do what you like with it.
Yeah, you're right. It's not actual verbiage words like we think in human terms, but it's that instant knowing.
Yeah.
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 Okay, this is what I got, or this is what I'm getting. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that part.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do think there's a piece that I just want to comment on what you said, Pam. Like I know from like one of the women I know and work with, she gets a lot of information. She's so empathic. She'll walk in a room and she'll be like, why did y'all tell me that? Like her guide's telling her like that someone X happened or Y happened to someone. And so there is this level of discernment that it's responsibility, I think, to discern and to use our own inner guidance to know like what is meant to be shared and what maybe you may not know why you needed that information in that moment, that you saw that, heard that, felt that. And if it's not clear that you're meant to share it, then taking that pause and just letting it be is kind of how I acknowledge it. Because I know that as their gifts start to come online, there will be this, like, sometimes it feels like they're being bombarded with information. They haven't tapped into their own filter, Maysha.
Yes,
big time. But finding your own filter, like of what it is that in your own way. I share similarly to Dianna, where I'll say, this is what I'm seeing or getting, and do with it as you wish. But there are times when I feel that like pullback of maybe this isn't meant to be shared right now, or maybe I'm just supposed to ask a question and not tell, like sometimes. So just discernment, I think, is huge as we're using our gifts to work with other people. And I think Dianna is a phenomenal, as you all are, example of discernment.
Yeah. And that was really what I was speaking to more than, kind of working with a client that you get that ask this question, or maybe it's not in those terms, but it's just like, like we've just talked about. So yeah, Sheri, thank you for that discernment piece, because I think that's it. Sometimes you can walk into a room and you feel or know, and you're just like, yeah, no, got to sit on that one for a little bit. I might have to sleep on that one.
And in this same vein, I've heard Maysha say several times in conversation with me, or she's channeling for me to, she'll just, I can see her faces. Do I have to tell her that? Do I, how do I say that? So I yes, absolutely. And for me, it's like, just spit it out. Like, I'm good. Like, I'll figure it out at my end. I'm okay. It's not an issue, but that's me. That's not somebody else, so yeah, we all need to make that decision for ourselves.
Yeah, I think especially when it took me a great deal of time, because at first it was just all coming so fast, and because I was getting download after download after download, and I was so grateful to have people like you to go to with it, because I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, like y'all want me to tell the world this stuff? Seriously, and as you all know, there's much of it I still have not told, and don't know if I don't know when that time comes. But yeah, there's that, and that's why, like, you all tend to work more with individuals, and I work with very few individuals. I give out information to masses mostly, and then the individuals I work with, I'm like, okay, you want me to channel to you, okay, but I'm going to channel it as they're giving it to me, and then you do with it what you feel inclined, So there is that, absolutely, and I'm glad you all brought that up. There is that, and everyone who starts getting all these downloads really suddenly, or suddenly hearing or seeing or whatever, there is that. I think we all understand there's that point in time where you don't really know what's happening, and so you need those people that you can go to and you can trust, and you can say, what do I do with this? Or holy, you're not going to believe what I just got. And of course, Diana's now like, okay, when are we going to have a holy moment? She's like, we haven't had one of those in a while, and I'm getting much better with those.
HFS in the
I'm
subject line. Yeah.
Of course, Sheri, she's still like, I love it when you're this way. Keep going. But of course, we do it with the people that we can do it with, and so,
yes. Yeah.
All right.
And I'm grateful that that's all of you.
Yes, I'm grateful that I'm grateful too. So, but all right, thank you, Diana. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for the platform that you give so many people, and that is expanding. So thank you so much. Thank you.
As long as you're breathing.